Welcome back, awesome action toy fans and subscribers. More Joy Toy, and I've got so much stuff to review. I'm going to be busy for quite a few weeks. So Joy Toy here, we have the Free Truism 19th, should be 19th, surely. 19th Legion Ghost Squad, 3 figures there. And also matching them is Company of Nether, Grice Anna, together because they are matching power armor and stuffs, and I believe they are part of the same unit, but we will see when I open them up in a second. These guys do have like an exoskeleton, so it'll be interesting to see what they're like, and I will compare them to the Acid Rain one that I reviewed recently, and I'll show you that a bit later when I compare and see which one does the job better. Oh, that's quite strong. Okay, so I do like these boxes where they separate out the compartments. So you have the equipment and you have the figures. But Joy Toy figures recently, in my last few, they seem like I've got a lot of black eyes. That looks pretty cool. Let's have a look at her as well. Get them all sort of ready to go before we jump right in. Okay, let's start by looking at the equipment that comes with these guys. So they've got a box. It looks like some sort of advanced rocket launcher. There's a drone. There's helmets, and they've got their assault rifles. There are 3 the same and 1 different. So there's 1 extra gun there, and I don't know if the box is empty or not. On the paperwork, it shows about how to disassemble and reassemble, which we should know already from customizing and from hot work, and it shows the bits and bobs. Oh, so it looks like if there's nothing in the box, then the guys have their pistols and knives already. Okay, so let's have a look inside here. If you saw my Crazy Reload SUV review, it's just the videos. In fact, I'm going to grab it very quickly now. Here it is. There is a space in the... It says coming apart in his hands. There's a space in the back just here for these boxes, and the space is made specifically for the box. So we can look at that in a moment too. Okay, so that is down. Let's look at this box. That is a nice looking box. There's goodies inside, and they're not sweeties. Okay. Joints on one side, opens the other side, weathered. Danger, do not touch. Well, how do we move it? Opens up, and we have, lovely. We have 1, 2, 3 pistols, 1, 2, 3, 4 spare joints. We have this, whatever that is, clipboard, clipboard or something. A spare hand, and we have a round for the rocket launcher. So the rocket launcher must obviously open. That is a very nice looking box, and a handle there so it can be dragged by the figures. Okay, we have their helmets. Bit shoddy on the painting on that one, on the visor. That one too. I like the helmets, but the visor, the orange paint is not the best towards the bottom part by the nose piece. It's a bit smudged. Rocket launcher. Ugh. Opens nicely. The only thing I'll say is that gap at the bottom, if I push, becomes less, so it's not sealed together as tight as it could do, or could be. I would be tempted to use some modeling putty to fill that and smooth it over. But it's still very nice looking. I like that a lot. Let's see how the round fits in as well, since we are here. It's a nice fit, and it comes out. If I was to push that together, still a nice fit. and still comes out. Okay, so that's pretty cool. We have the drone. The only thing I'll say about the drone is there is no flight stand. A flight stand for that drone would have been nice. And it's very plain. It's like, well, where's the camera? They could have sort of put a camera on it or something. But it does look pretty cool. The shape's nice. Then we have their guns. So we have this one, which is different to the others. Short stock, so it should be quite easy for the figures to hold, but no drilled barrel, which we're getting used to with Joy Toy. Then these ones, there are 3 of these. I do worry when they have the bar connected across at the bottom. It makes it more difficult for figures to hold, but we'll see how they cope with that in a moment. Okay, equipment, pretty damn cool. Figures. I really want to see how this exo armor holds out and works with these guys. 3 guys. Head sculpts are generally pretty good. This guy just looks crazy, like he's someone's uncle. He's too old to be there. Sculpting on the rest looks good. They come with their knives already on their left legs. Holsters are attached to the armor on their right legs. The black is a bit too shiny for my liking, and he feels a bit, that's better, a bit stiff. He feels a bit looser now. I like the way the exo armor connects on the back there, but is it going to impinge their articulation? Let's see. This guy, that's a really nice head sculpt, though seeing it on the camera might be a bit tough. He looks pretty cool. And then we have guy number 3. His head looks thinner than the others. Again, a nice head sculpt too. Again, the black looks a bit too shiny in places, and some of his stuff is twisted around on his shin. There we go. Okay, they look cool. They are identical apart from their head, so I need to look at articulation on one. So, head first of all. Oh, he can get a left and a right, even with this plastic sort of scarf there. Side to side, there is movement there still, which is good. Down, not really. Up, and he pops off his head. So, up and down, tiny bit. Now the part I'm worried about, shoulders, and his arm comes apart. Not only does his arm come apart, the joint has snapped, it looks like. But it still works. Yeah, that joint has snapped, so I might have to replace that. I will be contacting Joy Toy. Okay, so you can come up to not quite 90 degrees. Turning the arm backwards, he can, and the bicep will bend about 90 degrees. This one, let's see what his bicep does. Yeah, this one doesn't break, and it gets to slightly over 90. Even though this one's broken, it still fits in. Having actually exo armor there actually keeps it in place to a degree. So that's not too bad. Waist, this is going to be a bit worrying with all this stuff on him. Okay, pretty good. Even with the connected to the back, he can lean backwards. Forwards, not so much because this part gets in the way. Side is pretty damn good, to be fair, and side, and he can turn. Right, I was expecting. Outwards on the legs, Joy Toy are normally very good, but the exo armor makes that almost impossible. Forwards, yeah, that's not great. The sculpt and the exo armor belt gets in the way. Backwards, not great. Sculpt gets in the way. Double knee joint. Sculpt gets in the way, but it gets over 90 degrees. Right like 4. Ankle. Yep, if you try and push him to a tippy toes, it will force the joint out of the shoe. So you can only get a pretty decent tippy toe still. If we go for the dorsal flexation, the Michael Jackson. Tee-hee. Yeah, it's all right, not great. The foot turns, which is good, but it loses some from the, or rather the ankle part here gets in the way. Then this is not connected to the ankle, so that's smart, which is very close, so he can turn it. And there is the swivel. better than I thought it would be, to be fair. Now let's do a simple comparison with the Acid Rain World one, see what they look like together. So the Acid Rain World figure is bigger by a bit, but they do scale well. Shoulders. There's a better system on the back for the Acid Rain World than for the Joy Toy one. The Joy Toy one is a bit too fixed, but the Joy Toy one is very flexible, rubbery plastic, so it does get motion too. So you can see that sort of bend there. But this one has a little joint, which you can barely see, I think, on camera, inside a loose joint, which helps move it. So pretty good in that. Bicep, Acid Rain World is probably about the same. Legs, Acid Rain World is better. The waist, now this is going to be a figure issue. Joy Toy is better because the Acid Rain one makes it too stiff on his torso and the leg pops, the torso pops out. On the double kneecap, about the same. And then the ankles, I would say about the same again. So they're quite similar. They're quite similar. Acid Rain one looks a bit more armor plated, but both are pretty cool. This works not bad. This flexible sort of plastic idea is pretty good. I just worry though that that will deteriorate in time if you're in the sun. Okay, wrists. He has gun articulation on his left and standard wrist articulation on his right. Or he should have. There we go. Okay, let's see what they look like if I put their helmets on. So that doesn't fit properly. His chin's poking out the bottom there, which is a bit annoying. Urgh. Looks, yeah, it's just the paintwork is a bit shoddy on the bottom of the mask. Let's try putting this one at an angle, get his the chin covered. Again, the chin is showing, which I prefer the chin to be covered, but the mask is cool. And the last one, it's got the best face sculpt, this one, I would say. His one actually fits the best. The chin is more covered. Okay, before I get to them holding the guns, let's look at our, was it Grice Anna? So, same helmet, so she's part of the same squad. Again, the paint app is slightly better on hers. And she comes with two hands, this pistol, which is different to their pistols. And she comes with this gun, which is the same as theirs, but hers isn't weathered. It's like she's a noob, never been to combat. You know, your metal's untested. Okay, and actually her helmet comes with a blank head inside. Because of the hair she has on her, it wouldn't fit in otherwise. And also her helmet's more rubbery. Okay, it's got two spare hands there. So she has a right hand spare and left hand spare. So reversing the hand. Let's pop her out. So she's missing the webbing, but she does have this awesome looking chest armor, and she's a lot cleaner. So it's like she's a new in the job. And her hair is too golden, almost like the Wehrmacht, the German trooper set. And I'll put that to just the videos. One of them had golden hair, like literally gold metal color hair. And her belt section is yellow, not black like the others, or this sort of off yellow. She needs some weathering on the armor. Okay, so articulation, a little bit left, a little bit right, hair gets in the way, backwards none, down not really, side to side a little bit. Shoulders, she'll get to not quite 90. Bicep bend. It looks like she can get more than 90 on the bicep bend, but the See, this side is more 90, but depending on the position you have the exo armor, it might force it backwards a little bit. So more 90 on the left and about 90 on the right, but she can do more than that. That's the exo armor is trying to force it straight again. Okay, and it feels like the exo armor is a bit maybe big for her, perhaps. And it just popped out of joint then. Okay, so waist, side to side, forwards, backwards, hips. Better than the boys because he hasn't got that stuff on her trousers as much. The sculpting, articulation on the wrists. Sorry. So she does have the gun articulation on the right, as I said, and the stand on the left. Double kneecap. She's got much less sculpting because she's thinner. Look how tight that is. That's phenomenal on the leg. She's better than the Acid Rain, Aegis Sentinel, and the guys. There is a thigh twist in all of them, which I didn't say, sorry, but very hard with this armor on. She gets a decent tippy toe. Her dorsal flexation is pretty damn good, has to be said. And the foot turns better as well. And they all have, which I missed off, I think, they all have toe articulation, which you don't get in the Acid Rain. So she can put her toes up. Versus some poses are better. She's actually the best of the lot, just that her stuff isn't weathered. Now if I swap her head around to the one with the helmet, doesn't look so pretty now, does she? Okay, let's put that on there. It'd be nice if they'd done this helmet with hair coming out the sides. That'd look pretty cool. Because that just feels a bit loose. Just stuck on there, not particularly tight. But she's got this little groove in the back of her head. I'd be tempted to make a matching slot, a matching what's the word, ridge inside the helmet so it stays on better. Okay, let's tool them up and see how they hold their equipment. So we use these guns. That's how they hold these guns with these joined bits at the bottom, which I don't particularly like on action figure guns because they do get in the way. Now, Joy-Toy are generally good on holding guns, but let's see how he copes with this. Okay. And his bicep came apart again, but holds that well. And he comes with a spare bicep joint. It looks like he might do. Now, the thing is, they've got this handle at the front of the gun here, which I really want him to be able to hold, but I don't know if he will. With the armor. Oh, it's so close yet so far. And now his biceps popping out, so. Yeah, not the best holding that there. He can hold it, but not the best there. I have to change the way he holds it slightly, I think. And also getting that stuck in the shoulder is not easy. In fact, let me use a different one because his bicep just keeps detaching where it's broken. Let's try this one here. The hard part again is getting his hand in straight away. Did I get that right? No! Let's bend those fingers back. Get the thumb over. Okay, that looks like it's just... That is in, and his hand popped out instead. Okay. Now let's try and get that back in place. I'm not having good luck with these, am I? Okay, hand off. Let's put the hand in. The actual joint part came off. And I have some pliers nearby because I need to squeeze. And I will go to, that will pop out again. I'll go to figure number 3 and try this gun again. Now don't get any bad ideas about Joy-Toy. Their figures are actually generally quite good and they've improved so much in terms of quality as well over the last year compared to their first batches, or their earlier batches I should say. Okay, he's got that on nicely already. Just that getting him to hold with his other hand is going to be really, really hard. That's partly due to the armor getting in the way, and also, yeah, he can't do that particularly well, but he can do a different pose with this gun. But then he let go again. Okay, they can hold that gun, but not very well. I'll go to this one. This one's going to be a lot easier to pose because it hasn't got that connecting bar on the bottom, which sort of gets in the way, and straight away he's holding it. Though his hand here isn't really a holding hand, but he's not holding that well because the stock's not to his shoulder, but he can hold it very quickly and far easier than the other gun. However, if I spend just a couple more seconds, he should get a nice, decent pose. I'm going to give up. They can do it, but it takes too long. She should be easier. Her joints aren't quite as tight, just that this handle again is going to get in the way. Okay, thumb is on the other side. She's holding the handles. She can actually hold this properly, I was going to say, but again, that little bar when you come across does force the fingers out slightly. Okay, so she holds it better. She is the pick of the bunch for articulation, and she does look pretty damn cool. So easy to pose like that, you see. Bang, really, really easy. The guys are easy to pose, but their joints are stiffer as well. And these guns for them is... See, I am tempted to cut that bar off just to make it easier. Okay, one more time. So he's got the gun. I'll change his pose. Looks pretty cool. This guy used a difficult gun as well. This is my bicep detached guy. And he is not wanting to hold this. Okay, he's holding it now. Reattaches bicep, and he drops his gun. Give him a similar pose to her because it's quite easy to do. And the last one. Now, this is the guy's hand comes off. Now, I'm not going to do the pistols because I know they hold the pistols really well for Joy Toy. Very, very well. You can see that in some of my other reviews. Don't do these guns here, but I am going to after I finish this video, I'm going to sort out this guy's wrist and change the other guy's joint on his, to the spare joint on his bicep. So these guys are all complete. And again, I'm not going to pose him because his wrist is going to pop out again. Very nice set. I like this a lot. The only thing I need to do now before I close out is pose one of these guys with the rocket launcher, which I'm going to do in a second. Someone could hold this drone up if they wanted to. Maybe I'll do it with my man here. Got this. You know, his hand just dropped off again. Not the best pose on his left hand for it. I'll leave that. In fact, what I will do is I will take this guy here and I'll do the rocket launcher with him instead. Lovely looking set. If you've got the patience for it, it's fantastic. I've got the patience, but obviously you guys are watching, so it's not quite as good, or for me to take 4,000 years to do it. Again, they have a joined handle, which I can't stand because it makes it almost impossible to hold things in those handles, but he does have a loose handle at the front, which I'm going to use for hopefully getting a decent pose with him. Cool. I might take that back. I'm trying to get a decent pose with him anyway. I have to go full on straight arm nearly with him to get this to hold this properly. Okay. The problem with that big mass of handles and stuff here is it gets in the way of his arm when he's trying to hold the front handle. But you can do it. A decent set. I think it's worth picking up despite a couple of issues I've had of mine. She's the highlight, though there's an issue of her head being a little bit on the loose side, the spare head that goes inside the helmet. Okay, this is Awesome Action Toys. I'm signing out, saying please like, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon with more Awesome Action Toy videos for you. Stay happy, keep collecting, and check out my other videos. There's coming on 600 or maybe more by now, okay? Bye-bye.